So let's talk about IndyCar a little bit. Had an unusual Saturday IndyCar race. Normally we have our IndyCar Grand Prix on Sunday, but I'm not opposed to Saturday IndyCar races. Alex Palou comes up with the win for Chip Ganassi Racing. Um, been a couple races since Palou's won. He did win the season finale at Laguna Seca last season, and very interesting. With if you guys remember all the Chip Ganassi Racing threatening to sue Palou, and it's always interesting to see how their social media reactions are to their driver winning. Now, I love Chip Ganassi Racing, but it's always interesting to see how these guys react, even with all the awkwardness um, of this still kind of going on. Because I don't know if anything's been resolved with that yet, has it?
I think it has. I don't know why. I've never quite understood, to be honest with you, the whole thing.
It
But
was just it was just very weird overall.
but I think I'm not sure, but I think it has been resolved, and there is a little bit of an awkward vibe in the team, but for the most part, from what I've seen, it's kind of been covered up.
But overall, great win for Polo because he needed this win. I'd say he needed this win to get the team in the right mindset, to get the off their their minds off of everything that's been going on behind the scenes. So they really needed this win, not only for themselves but to get them into the points lead.
Yeah,
So that
absolutely.
is that is very good for them heading into my favorite race of the year, the Indy 500.
Yeah,
Which we will
or the Mason 500.
correct. So we will talk about that in a couple minutes. But very strong day for McLaren. P2 with Pato and P3 for Alexander Rossi, rounding out the podium. So very good days for both of them. Um, if you guys remember, Rossi won the second Indy Road Course race last season, and that was his first win in like 3 4 years, something like that. So he's always had a good moments at that track. But this is a step in the right direction, I'd say, for not only McLaren but for Rossi because he's been needing some good luck recently.
Yeah, and I think that move to McLaren has really helped him a whole lot. The thing about it is, I think that he's going to only get better with McLaren because he's admitted himself he's still a little adapting a little bit more. But was this his first podium with McLaren?
Yes, I believe so.
And that just shows he's coming along nicely and developing with McLaren. And McLaren has they've been doing fantastic.
Yeah, I'd say they've been, other than Ganassi, they've been the most consistent team on the grid. So they've been doing really well uh, for a team like them. Um, not like a Penske team or a Ganassi team, but a team like Andretti. They've been doing very well so far this season.
Yeah, yeah, and I will tell you though, who does need a win? Something awful. Roman Grosjean.
Here we go with the Roman Grosjean train once again.
We
Woohoo!
just talked about it
Oh,
last week, didn't we? And
oh yeah,
once again, we're back on the same boat. Roman still needs a win. Absolutely.
and he
Yeah,
definitely does.
and did y'all see that clip of right after qualifying? He was really frustrated
Yes.
with the team. Yeah, I will say this. I didn't really like that being on camera. He needed to do all of that and behind closed doors because that's just a bad look for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, being a race car driver, sometimes you just can't control your emotions. I mean, look at I'm going to get called out for this, but look at Kyle Busch, with his past reputation. Um,
What are you talking about? He's an angel.
sure, um, you know, he's had several outbursts on TV. You know, yeah, as a race car driver, you're just caught up in the emotion of the moment. So, and sometimes you just can't control whether it's anger, frustration, whatever. So, I get, I get that sometimes it should all be handled behind closed doors, but sometimes it's just one of those deals where it just comes out like that, and whether they're meaning to or not, it just happens sometimes like that.
On a side note, though, I would still love to see Will Power and Kyle Busch fight each other.
That man, who? All right, who's placing bets on who?
Oh, I'd go with Will Power.
I
Yeah,
100% would.
He's
I'd probably take.
He's feisty and he's Australian.
Yeah, I would take willpower over Kyle. Kyle got a bloody. Kyle's not had great fights in NASCAR. Not great luck with fights. He's usually the one that's getting his butt whooped. So I would vote against Kyle for sure. Not that I'd kick his butt. I'm just saying. Just saying what the film says. All right. So like if anybody just goes and is like, hey Kyle, look what this guy said. Like I'm not saying I can beat Kyle Busch. I'm just saying that willpower would.
Are you going to try to pick a fight with Kyle Busch?
Dude, if it gets us more popular, sure. Hey, that's free. That is free publicity, and there's no such thing as bad publicity. No, I'm just kidding. There absolutely is a thing as such bad publicity, and I do not want to fight any drivers unless it's like no. They're not even in an unless. I wouldn't fight any of the drivers. Not even unless we signed a contract for and it was like a full thing that was going to be pay-per-view or something. I still wouldn't do it.
A legally documented contract is all we need.
No, I'm saying like a pay-per-view contract or something. Like you gotta pay for it on DirecTV, like Royal Rumble or something like that. I don't know.
I would.
Okay.
See,
hey, I'm all for it.
We got. Hey, that's 2 subscriptions. We can get this. I'll let them know. Let me get on the phone right now.
I'd do it.
At HBO Max.
I'm not against taking a broken nose or a bloody nose for a couple of $100.
That's fair. Where were we?
You asked us if Will Power and Kyle Busch would win in a fight.
No, Chris did. That was not me.
Yes, it was.
I just brought up. I still would like to see Kyle Busch and Will Power fight.
I thought you. Okay.
There you go, lying.
I'm not lying.
You be lying on air.
Oh my goodness.
We got you on camera, literally on camera.
Hey, I have editing magic. All right, let's get back on topic. The countdown to the Indy 500 is on, gentlemen. That's going to be fun.
Have you all seen the documentary, any of the episodes yet? 100 Days to Indy?
I have not.
I've been meaning to watch it. I just haven't gotten around to it.
I've heard it's really good.
Yeah, same. I've seen only positive things around IndyCar Facebook.
Which is surprising.
Yeah,
at least it's not
as bad as NASCAR Facebook. Nothing is as bad as NASCAR Facebook.
I was about to say the same exact thing.
You can see some bad people I'm saying bad things on NASCAR Facebook.
Social media. I love it.
Absolutely.
But anyways, yeah, going back to IndyCar, you know who's been really underwhelming so far? Colton Herta.
Yep. I think we talked about it. We either talked about it a little bit last week, or we talked about it in our private messages a little bit. Either or, but Colton has been very, very underwhelming. And yeah, we actually did talk about it a little bit
Yeah.
last week because with Brian Herta not being there as his race director.
Yeah, and I still might be a little bit salty about not getting an F1 seat too.
Yeah, and oh, like we said last week, we saw the tweet about Brad Pitt. He was salty about that.
Well, I would be too.
Yeah, I 100% would be too.
How many races has Brad Pitt won?
None.
I wonder if Paul Newman would have a super license.
Maybe. I mean, the FIA seems to be handing them out like candy nowadays, except to Colton Herta.
Unless you're American. So maybe Paul
Exactly.
Newman wouldn't have one.
Golly. So countdown the Indy 500 is on. We are less than 2 weeks away from the greatest spectacle in racing.
Practices
You
start
get it?
tomorrow.
Yeah. So everything will be on.
That's my favorite part. Sorry to interrupt you. That's my
You're
favorite part
fine.
about Indy, though. The best part about Indy is that you get all these practices, all these qualifying. It's a 2 week long event, kind of like Daytona, but it's so much fun, and there's so much racing for 2 weeks at one of the most historic racetracks. So it's going to be really exciting, and there's lots of practices this week. We got qualifying on Saturday and Sunday, so that's going to be very interesting. And then obviously the race on May 28th, so that's going to be really exciting.
That's not even counting the test sessions that have been going on off and on for like the last couple of weeks.
Yep. So it's literally a tradition up there, and I want to get to one before I die.
What I've noticed is so far, which knock on wood, I'm knocking on my wooden chair right next to me. There haven't been any crashes this year in testing.
Well, we said the same thing about testing last year, and then Colton Herta ended up on his lid within the last 10 minutes of the final practice session.
Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, though, last year, aside from Colton Herta, it was actually pretty tame.
Yeah, I think Colton was only one of two practice wrecks, and I think they both happened in the same session for the entire month of May. I'm not 100% certain on that, but that's what I remember from that. So the month of May is
it's always a fun month.
It's a tradition, not only if you live in Indianapolis, but for motorsports as well, because May 28th is the best day in motorsports. We got the Monaco Grand Prix, Indy 500, and then the Coca-Cola 600, one of my personal favorite races on the NASCAR schedule as well. So with that being said, do we have, and we'll go over this again before Indy, but do we have any early Indy 500 winner predictions so far?
Grosjean. I think he's going to do something big this year. I really do. A man can only have so much bad luck.
You are 100% right, but I am also a Kyle Larson fan, so I would know about bad luck.
At least the boys won a championship.
Correct. Man, if I had to go with an early 500 winner, I have to go with Scott Dixon. He's been so close the last 4 years. He should have won at least two. He's got to get another one.
Yeah, my kind of sentimental favorite, I think, is Elio or Tony Kanaan.
Yeah, because TK's final race is the Indy 500.
Yeah. Or even Takuma Sato. He would place himself among with the legends if he won a third one.
That'll be 3.
I
Mason,
still
who are you
remember when he
thinking?
was in F1. He was a very underrated F1 driver.
I don't know who I'm thinking. It's still kind of up in the air. Part of me just wants to go with Pato O'Ward.
Yeah,
but he's been pretty solid this season, and I think he could have a really good chance. But honestly, it's going to depend on where where practice is at this weekend and stuff like that. So that may change come next Monday.
Yeah. 2, I was thinking, I'm surprised y'all didn't say Marcus Ericsson again. He won last year.
I thought about it, but you never know what's going to happen, and he's had we'll see, man. He definitely could. I don't know. It's hard to win back-to-back years in the Indy 500, and you never know what's going to happen. So for every single thing to go right and to go your way and go the way you need it to at the end 2 years in a row, it's a difficult feat. So it's difficult to pick Marcus Ericsson knowing he won last year. You know what I mean? Do you really want to risk that? But it could also be, if he wins it, a really good feat for him and for the sport as well.
Is the Indy 500 a double points race this year, or did they take that out?
They took it away.
Okay. Because I was thinking if he wins it again this year, I believe he could win the championship.
Right. So speaking of our championship standings for IndyCar, we've got Alex Palou, P1. He's our new points leader, followed by Pato O'Ward, 6 behind Palou in P2 with 168. Then we have Marcus Ericsson, who fell to 3rd with 155. And then we have Grosjean with 134, McLaughlin 133, Newgarden with 131, Dixon 127, Will Power at 122, Christian Lundgaard at 111, and Kyle Kirkwood at 108. And actually, now that I'm looking at it, Alexander Rossi and Kyle Kirkwood are tied in the points at 108. So they are tied at P10 in the points. So those are your current top 10 in the IndyCar standings. Still anyone's game, obviously. Got to get through Indy to have a shot at the championship. So that is our do we have any final thoughts before our NASCAR segment, guys?
Yeah, I just want to say that what I absolutely love about it, IndyCar, is any of those top 8 guys could win. It's completely plausible that any of them would win. Heck, you could even say that about the entire 10 names that you listed there. But I'd say legitimately plausible that any of those top 8 guys could do it.
It's almost like a proper point system works.
Imagine that.
Now, with that being said, oh, thank you for that. We needed that.
Time.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Are we going to make this into a sitcom now?
Yes.
They just have the laugh track in the background that, like, it comes on when you say nothing that is funny. It's just like, yeah, Bubba Wallace had a rough day. He got wrecked out, and unfortunately, and
that's oof.
like that, or like, oh, Kyle Larson and Ross Chastain get into it again. What do you know? Just.
Well, it's not like that happened.
Catchphrase now.
It's not like that happened again this week, did it?
Oh, totally didn't happen this weekend.